what happens is the psychopaths, who are selected because they're psychopaths by the psychopaths in the shadows to be the visual leaders of the psychopathic agenda, called prime ministers, presidents, and all the rest. They manipulate, lie, orchestrate, make excuses to bomb, slaughter, and devastate country after country. And they spend billions and billions and endless billions. When was the last time you ever heard anyone say, well, we'd like to go to war, but we can't afford it? No, no. They can't afford basic humanity for people. But war? No problem. And they spend these billions and billions ongoing, and they devastate countries. Then they spend just a little bit more, but far less in total, rebuilding the country. Just paying lip service to it, really. Not really rebuilding it at all. And then, after having spent all that money, then they tell the people back home that actually we have to have austerity programs because we've got no money and we've got this debt and we've got to do something about it. And it goes on generation after generation after generation. And so we're seeing the same again. And what it means is that because the psychopaths of the agenda control the military with most capability, i.e. NATO, etc. And overwhelmingly they control the perceptions of the media in terms of the way these things are reported. It means that they can do all the things they condemn others for, and worse, and never be collared for it. And yet, the ones who are on the losing side, who do often far less than has been done by the moral West and its psychopathic leaders, they get the consequences. They end up in the International Criminal Court for war crimes, while the biggest war criminals on the planet, are you listening, Tony Blair? And you too, Cameron, get away with it. And you, George Bush. In fact, America and Israel don't even recognize the International Criminal Court, and that's probably good for the court itself, because if the war criminals in the United States and Israel were actually to be prosecuted, the numbers would be so overwhelming the court couldn't cope. I'm going to develop this theme into the whole arena of what we bravely, outrageously, crazily call education. And the first story I'm going to start with is of this. Okay? It's a boy, he's aged 10, and he's had his hair cut. And, well, there's actually a big end, because he wanted his hair cut like this guy, a guy called Aguero, for those around the world who maybe are not in football countries. There can't be many. He is a very famous footballer in Britain, and he has a particular haircut, as you can see, and this lad wanted the same haircut. Fair enough. He's a boy. Why wouldn't he? But he had broken the golden rule. Thou shalt conform, and thou shalt not challenge conformity, even if it's a bloody haircut. Right, this is the news story. Bear with me, I'm not making it up. My goodness me, you have no idea how much I wish I was. Schoolboy ordered to wear a hat, I kid you not, in lessons because his Sergio Aguero style short back and sides is too extreme. There is one too extreme in this story, and that's the school and the lunatics that run it. Okay, it goes on. A schoolboy who had his hair cut like football idol Sergio Aguero has been ordered to wear a hat in lessons or stay home until it grows back. Could be a while, his family claim. 10-year-old Tom Mosley was told his short back and sides hairstyle, modelled on the Manchester City striker, was too extreme by staff at St Gilbert's Primary School in Winton, Eccles, and he was removed from school on his birthday. Well, that was his birthday present. He got out of jail, which is what schools have become. Actually, maybe have always been. Anyway, I'll get into that as we develop this theme through this videocast. His family say they were told that he could either return to classes when his hair had grown, restyle it, or wear a hat at all times. Parents, Lisa, 39, and Kirk, 43, have attacked the school's decision and have decided to keep Tom out of school. Good on ya, good on ya. Likening the school's hat suggestion to wearing a dunce's cap. We could borrow the head teacher's if he wants. Mr. Mosley said, he's being punished for a haircut, but he has consistently achieved good results and he's well behaved in class. Doesn't matter. He's not conforming. The software program is miffed. We were given 3 options, he said. Take him out of school until it grows. Best one. Then cut it again so he'll stay out of school longer. Get it cut or sit in class wearing a hat. And he won't be allowed to play football at school. He would also have to sit outside the head teacher's office at break times wearing the hat. Did I mention I wasn't making this up? Oh, how I wish I was. So his dad said, we decided to keep him out of school because I'm not having him sitting with the equivalent of a dunce's cap hat on. Now, talking of dunce's hats, head teacher Cheryl Fox said, we set out clear standards on hair and dress at this school, which parents are made fully aware of and accept when pupils enroll. She goes on. We always suggest that an unsuitable haircut, unsuitable to whom, pray, can be trimmed into an acceptable style without going down the skinhead route, or that the child can wear a hat of their choice in school. What if the hat doesn't conform? What then? Gets complicated. She goes on. If the parents wish to keep the child away from school until the haircut grows out, we will ensure their education does not suffer. Why? You're going to stay away from them, are you? Eh? Don't go near them. Then their education might prosper. But this is the classic. This is the classic. This is the classic quote that encompasses not just the education system, the sausage machine programming system, but human society as a system in general. I quote the head teacher. It is our responsibility to prepare children for high school, college, university and employment, where they will be expected to follow the rules of the establishment or dress code of their employer. We want our children to succeed and will continue to do all we can towards that aim. Classic. Our responsibility to prepare children for high school, college and university. He's 10. And employment where they will be expected to follow the rules of the establishment or dress code of their employer. He's 10, because that's what school is. Have you heard this phrase they come up with all the time now? We must prepare children for the workplace. No, we must prepare the workplace, human society, for children. The system should serve humanity. Humanity should not, as it does, serve it through crap like this. They are not preparing children to access all their infinite potential for expressing their individuality and uniqueness. They are preparing them to be a cog in a machine called the system. And this head teacher is another cog in the machine, creating other cogs, and her like are all around the world in what we call the education system.